Hi friends, I'm Josh Gahn. This is Erie Bicycle. Last time we got a bike out of that hole, it was this bike and it was in pieces. So what it is an old Schwinn Sierra that, if you remember, was at the shop I work at. A friend of mine had it. It got busted up. They told me, hey, you better take this out of here before it gets completely destroyed. So I did, and we drug it home, and I rebuilt it Thanksgiving Day instead of eating, because I'm that kind of screwball. So let's have a look with what I did. I did a nice, I think, a nice blend of trash, vintage components, and original components. So the front wheel was tacoed and the handlebars were bent, I figured out, like the following day. So I used some wish I'd have planned that out. I used some vintage Mavic X138 wheels on STX hubs. Vintage. I used that STX RC derailleur. A SRAM, I think it's 13 to 32 or 11 to 32. This is 11 to 32. Cassette that Bike Shop Dan gave me that was like a takeoff, it's still nice, but you can't really sell it to somebody. So, trash bike guy. In the same vein, I fished up this Samox crankset, the hollow shaft, external bottom bracket crankset, also out of the trash. They were taunting me at the bike shop, and they said, hey, you want this? It's got to get thrown out. And I said, oh yeah, I can use that. And they taunted me, and then Bike Shop Dan said, yeah, you could pick the seals off and repack the bear, and I threw it out. But then the following day, I went with the pinchers and actually pinched it out of the dumpster. And here it is. So I had the chain ring already. The fender in the front, I tried to put some fenders, like standard fenders on, like the back one, but it didn't work because the fork, this part of the shock is so far forward. So I would have had to have a bolt stick way back, and that would have been dumb. And I went into my bike shop job on Saturday, and Digital Dave said, oh, you need fenders. First thing he said to me. And he was right. So Digital Dave helped me out with this. So the whole thing was, I would buy the fender if you put it on. Joe put it on, so I think you buy the fender.
Ooh.
Right?
That doesn't seem like a good idea.
I used the original seat post, another one of those Comfort Bike seat posts things that's complete garbage, but it's the only one I had in that size. Me and Digital Dave put this rear fender on. They're new brakes, Shimano, you know, whatever's. Cool stop pads, swear by them. I've figured out that the cool stops they're important, and they're good and they work. I picked this basket up from behind a dumpster. The original one I had on the mule didn't fit in the seat. The mule's dead, by the way. She's dead, Jim. So this just happened to fit perfectly. I took the side baskets off for the winter time. This is everything that the mule was, but more. Obviously, comfort is definitely king here. The big, tall front end is really weird, and it rides a little shifty in the front. But the chainstays are 4 inches longer. I don't know how many millimeters that is. You'll have to math it all out. 4 inches longer. So, I mean, that leaves all kinds of room in here, as you can see. And we just went all the way up with the fender since there's so much room. The mule was like 40 pounds. And this is about 40 pounds lighter than the mule, so carrying it up and down the basement stairs in the wintertime is like, because you can't leave it in your house to drip all the snow and slush and crap into your house, especially if you'd like to stay married. So that's really a big deal. it's really it's really nice, and it rides a treat, man. I'm telling you what. So I set it up 1x8 because 8 is plenty. I spent my first year biking, which was what, 20 or 21. I rode the city for all summer half drunk on a single speed, so you know 8 is more than enough for this area. The levers came out of my parts bin. The Erie grips came from the bike shop. The bell, kids, the bell is king. If you want a beautiful sounding bell that looks good, that sounds like the best sounding bell you'll find, and rings forever, it just resonates, Crane Suzu. No, I just want to let you know I was coming. Have a good day. Thanks. It's kind of nice having a big boy bike, you know. The mule was super cool, but it's really nice to have a bike that's a little cleaner looking, and maybe I'm a big boy now. That's real nice. It is really comfortable. I mean, like super upright, as you could probably see. This is the part I hate. There's not a lot of room on this bridge, so it could get a little sketchy right at the get-go here. One of the other things about this bike is you're definitely not going to get aero. You're definitely not. Front chainring is 38. I was kind of afraid it would be too much, but it's not bad. We've got to get over and claim our lane here, kids. And I like to let everybody know before I get there. That way, if they come whipping around a corner, they see me with my arm out and they know where I'm going. I run a Surface E-Lume 605 front light because that's what they had at the bike shop before I worked there. They still have them. And Digital Dave back then told me you really need to have at least 600 to be able to see where you're going. And I think he's right. I think that's about right. So on this bike, it fits under the bars better than it fits on top of the bars, and it shines right through the cables real nice. I also want to tell you about my trick here. That's an end of a handlebar that got cut off to hold the light. Hey, so I'm Josh Gahn. This is Erie Bicycle. Thanks for coming by, checking out my bike. If you're ever in town, let me know. We will go ride bikes. So, thanks for coming. Please come back again. Still going.